So, you're thinking about becoming a mechanical engineer? Or you're already knee-deep in gears, bolts, and CAD drawings, wondering if you made the right life choice, or perhaps the worst mistake of your life? Well, buckle up because we're about to take a wild ride through the roller coaster, which is the life of a mechanical engineer. You will understand the joys of making things move, cause who doesn't love a good Rube Goldberg machine? And of course, the despair of dealing with that one bolt that won't budge, or living a huge chunk of your life immersed in work, without friends, or probably without love. I will break down the pros and cons of this career path. Spoiler alert, it's not all torque and tension diagrams. Sometimes it's just trying to explain to your family that you don't fix cars for a living. Let's begin by explaining why being a mechanical engineer is super awesome. Number 1. Creative problem solving. One of the coolest perks of being a mechanical engineer is creative problem solving. Now, I know what you're thinking, creative? Isn't engineering all about numbers and equations? Sure, there's math involved. Okay, a lot of math, but at its core, mechanical engineering is basically like being a grown-up who never stopped playing with Legos. Except now, you're solving real-world puzzles, and your creations might fly into space or make people's morning commute a little smoother. Imagine you're handed a problem that looks like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie. It could be designing a robot that can assemble a car faster than a pit crew on caffeine, or figuring out how to make an engine more efficient so we don't completely fry the planet. You've got a blank slate, a bunch of materials, and a deadline that's way too close for comfort. What do? You get creative. You brainstorm, prototype, test, fail, and try again until you've got something that works. Something that didn't exist until you put your mind to it. One day, you're trying to make a machine run smoother. The next, you're figuring out how to keep it cool in extreme temperatures. Every problem is a new challenge, and with it comes the chance to stretch your imagination. You might think, what if we use this material instead? Or can we design this part to be more efficient? In essence, you fix a real-life problem that will benefit everyone and still be useful in future generations. Your creations could even be used to create something even better. If you love using your creativity to solve problems that matter, mechanical engineering is your dream job. Number 2. Versatility and variety. Mechanical engineering is the ultimate backstage pass to a whole range of industries. Fancy working in aerospace? Great! You could be designing jet engines or figuring out how to make planes more fuel efficient. More of a landlubber? The automotive industry is always looking for mechanical engineers to innovate in everything, from electric vehicles to the latest in driverless tech. And let's not forget about robotics, energy systems, biomedical devices, the list goes on. You can even dip your toes into the entertainment world, designing theme park rides or animatronics for blockbuster movies. Mechanical engineers are involved if it moves, spins, or has parts that must fit together perfectly. Now let's talk about job security. With so many industries relying on mechanical engineers, you're guaranteed to find a job that suits your interests. Want to travel the world? Mechanical engineering positions are everywhere, from Silicon Valley to the North Sea oil rigs. Prefer to stay local? Even your hometown has a company in need of someone with your skills. The point is, you've got options, tons of them. If you're someone who thrives on diversity and loves the idea of being a mechanical renaissance person, mechanical engineering might be your perfect fit. You'll never have to worry about getting stuck in a rut because the field is as wide and deep. And really, what more could you ask for in a career? Number 3. High demand and cool cash. One of the juiciest perks of being a mechanical engineer is high demand and good pay. I know what you're thinking. Finally, the part where we talk about money, and you're right. Mechanical engineers are versatile, reliable, and always in demand. As discussed earlier, nearly every industry you imagine needs something designed, built, or maintained. Cars, airplanes, robots, energy systems, you name it. There's a mechanical engineer behind the scenes making sure everything runs smoothly. The best part? This demand isn't going anywhere. In a world where technology constantly evolves, industries always look for engineers who can keep up with the latest trends, whether developing more efficient engines or creating robots to deliver your pizza. The bottom line? If you're a mechanical engineer, you have job security that would make even the most cautious investor jealous. The pay is pretty good too. In fact, it's great. The average salary for a mechanical engineer in the US hovers around $80,000 to $90,000 a year. And if you specialize in something super high-tech like aerospace or robotics, you can easily find yourself pulling in 6 figures. Yes, 6 figures. But it's not just about the base salary. Many mechanical engineers enjoy bonuses, stock options, and other perks, especially if you're working in cutting-edge fields like aerospace or oil and gas. And let's remember the satisfaction of being well compensated for doing something that you actually enjoy. If you're worried about spending your life eating instant noodles and wondering how to pay off your student loans, becoming a mechanical engineer might be your ticket to financial freedom. You'll have a job that makes your parents proud and your friends slightly jealous. Number 4. Global impact. When you think of someone changing the world, you might picture a celebrity giving a speech, a politician signing a law, or a scientist in a lab coat holding a test tube. But what if I told you that some real superheroes quietly tinker away with blueprints, gears, and CAD software? Yes, I'm talking about mechanical engineers. You might not think about it, but a mechanical engineer has touched nearly every product you use daily. Mechanical engineers make your life more comfortable, efficient, and fun, from the smartphone in your pocket to the air conditioning system keeping you cool on a hot day. But beyond the creature comforts, they're also working on innovations that improve lives on a grander scale. Take healthcare, for example. Mechanical engineers are developing advanced prosthetics that move more naturally, surgical robots that perform operations with pinpoint precision, and medical devices that diagnose diseases faster and more accurately. They're not just making things, they're making things better, often giving people a new lease on life. Number 5. The satisfaction of seeing your work in action. There's something magical about seeing your work come to life. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of magic where you wave a wand, shout abracadabra, and suddenly there's a rabbit in a hat. No, I'm talking about the real-world sorcery of being a mechanical engineer, where you take a pile of metal, wires, and parts and turn it into something that moves, spins, or makes people's lives easier. The satisfaction makes you feel like you're not just an engineer, but a wizard of the modern age. Imagine you've spent weeks, maybe months, staring at a computer screen filled with blueprints, calculations, and more CAD software than you ever thought humanly possible. You've debated the strength of materials, tweaked designs to the millimeter, and somehow managed to make it all work without your brain leaking out of your ears. And then, one day, you step into a room, or a factory, or even out into the field, and there it is. The machine, the structure you poured your heart and soul into, is there, humming along, doing exactly what it was designed to do. But the satisfaction of seeing your work in action goes beyond just personal pride. As a mechanical engineer, you're contributing to something bigger. Your work can change lives, improve industries, and impact the environment. Number 6. Collaboration opportunities. Mechanical engineering is a vast field. We're talking about everything from designing the tiniest nanobots to building massive aircraft engines. No one person can master all the skills and knowledge required to tackle these diverse challenges. That's where collaboration comes in. It's like assembling a toolbox filled with different experts. One person might be a whiz at fluid dynamics, another at material science, and someone else might have a knack for making things actually, work. When you collaborate, you're essentially pooling everyone's strengths together. Ever heard the saying, 2 heads are better than 1? In mechanical engineering, that's more like 10 heads are better than 1. One person might suggest an impossible idea, but someone else might have the missing piece to make it work. Before you know it, you've gone from a half-baked concept to a fully fledged design ready to hit the prototype stage. It's now time to talk about the not-so-sunny side of mechanical engineering. They don't put stuff in the glossy brochures or the recruitment ads. Being a mechanical engineer sounds like a dream, building cool stuff, solving complex problems, and getting paid well. But like anything, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Let's dive into the gritty, less glamorous side of being a mechanical engineer. Number 1. Long work hours. First, mechanical engineers often work longer than caffeinated squirrels on a sugar rush. You tend to think more about work than your friends and family. Worse, you may be terrible at finding love. Projects can have tight deadlines, and those extra hours become a regular part of life when things don't go according to plan, which they often don't. Imagine pulling an all-nighter, but instead of cramming for exams, you're wrestling with a stubborn piece of software or trying to figure out why your prototype has decided to defy the laws of physics. Fun times. However, there's a good side to this. You get a sense of accomplishment when all your hard work pays off. There's nothing quite like the feeling of finally cracking that complex problem and seeing your project come to life. It's like solving a really tough puzzle, except you'll probably need a nap afterward. When you recognize every corner of your office as if it's your new home, it's time to rest. Sadly, you might end up dreaming about spreadsheets and CAD drawings. Long hours can also take a toll on your personal life. Social events, hobbies, and simple pleasures like sleep can become rare commodities. You might miss out on weekend plans because you need to improve in calculations and designs. You're working late, but remember to take care of yourself. Eat well, get some exercise, and try to sneak in a few hours of sleep whenever you can. Your future self will thank you. If the workload is unbearable, speak up. Sometimes the stress of long hours can be alleviated by better planning or asking for help. After all, engineers are problem solvers, not necessarily superheroes. Number 2. Complexity and constant learning. Imagine you've just finished a grueling project. You've designed the perfect widget, tested it, and it works like a charm. You finally take a breather, and then bam! You get hit with a new project that's so complex it makes your last design look like a paperclip. Mechanical engineers are like perpetual students. Remember that feeling in school where every answer led to more questions? Now imagine that feeling but with much higher stakes. Every project you work on introduces new challenges, requiring you to explore new materials, technologies, and problem-solving techniques. Technologies evolve faster than you can say CAD software. If you're not keeping up, then you might be left a little behind. So, how do mechanical engineers keep up? They combine relentless curiosity with, let's be honest, a bit of nerdiness. Engineers read the latest research papers, attend conferences, and participate in workshops. So you've got a passion for problem solving, an appetite for continuous learning, and a sense of humor to tackle the occasional engineering hiccup. In that case, mechanical engineering might be your perfect fit. Remember, when you're knee-deep in CAD designs and trying to figure out why that gear isn't fitting, you're not alone. Everyone's been there. Number 3. Tedious details. In the world of mechanical engineering, every millimeter counts. You're designing a part that needs to fit into a machine with other components, all of which have their own precise measurements. If you miss one decimal point and suddenly your part doesn't fit, it jams up the entire system. Mechanical engineers are perfectionists by profession. The smallest error in measurements can cascade into catastrophic failures. Imagine you're designing a component that needs to fit within a housing with a tolerance of just 0.01 millimeters. One slip up and your part won't fit, or worse, it might cause a mechanical failure. Every measurement, calculation, and detail needs to be perfect. This isn't just about being picky, it's about ensuring every part functions correctly and safely. One misplaced decimal point could mean the difference between a product that works flawlessly and one that could potentially blow up, figuratively. It's a meticulous balancing act that can make or break a project. This obsession with perfection can be both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it drives engineers to produce high-quality, reliable designs. Conversely, it can lead to sleepless nights and unhealthy coffee consumption, but hey, if you're an engineer, you probably thrive on the challenge. Next time you marvel at a beautifully engineered product or system, remember the meticulous attention to detail that went into making it happen. And if you're an aspiring engineer or just a fan of the field, embrace the details. They might seem like a lot of work, but they're what turn concepts into reality. Number 4. Crazy misconceptions. So, you fix cars, right? This is the most well-trodden path of misconception. Imagine explaining to Aunt Martha at a family reunion that you're a mechanical engineer, only to have her respond with, "Oh, so you work on cars?" Mechanical engineering can be summed up by changing spark plugs and rotating tires. Here's the scoop. While some mechanical engineers work on cars, that's just one small slice of the pie. Mechanical engineering is like the Swiss Army knife of professions. We design everything from cutting-edge medical devices and aerospace components to roller coasters. If you've ever marveled at a space shuttle launch or the precision of robotic surgery, chances are a mechanical engineer had something to do with it. So no, not all of us are mechanics, though some might dabble in DIY car repairs for fun. Another crazy misconception is that you must be a math wizard to be a successful mechanical engineer. While math is definitely a key part of mechanical engineering, you don't have to be a wizard with numbers to survive. Sure, equations are involved, but most math is applied and practical rather than theoretical. Think of it this way. Being a mechanical engineer is more like being a savvy problem solver with a strong grasp of math rather than a human calculator. You're already on the right track if you can use math to solve real-world problems. And remember, there's always software to help with the heavy lifting. Mechanical engineers are often hands-on, involved in building prototypes, testing, and tweaking designs. We spend plenty of time on the factory floor, labs, or even on site, where our creations come to life. So, if you picture us as computer-bound hermits, think again. We're out there getting our hands dirty and making things happen. Finally, licensing renewals. Here's where it gets a bit more real. Licensing renewals can be a massive time sink. Between gathering documents, attending mandatory training sessions, and ensuring every I is dotted and T is crossed, it can feel like you're spending more time on paperwork than on actual engineering. This is where the stress really starts to build up. On the bright side, this time-consuming process does have a silver lining. It forces you to stay up to date with industry trends and advancements, so while you're wading through the paperwork, you're also keeping your knowledge current. In addition to the time commitment, there's also the financial aspect. Licensing renewals often come with a fee that varies depending on your location and specific license. This can be a financial hit, especially if you're juggling multiple certifications or a new engineer still getting your footing. But hey, look on the bright side. This cost is an investment in your career and your credibility. To wrap it all up, even if you love what you do, there are days when you'll want to pull your hair out over a stubborn design flaw or an impossible deadline. But here's the thing, that's normal. If everything were smooth sailing all the time, where's the fun in that? These experiences will build resilience, sharpen your skills, and make you a mechanical engineer. Thanks for sticking around till the end. Please show your support by hitting the subscription button for more videos. See you in the next one.